And I did this thing where I pulled out the drawer. And I'm like, oh, these are my action figures. And I shut it, and she said, and it was like one of those like stab you in the head moments of just like, wait, you have toys? And I was like, yeah. Wait, this isn't normal. Normal 15-year-old guys don't have this anymore, do they? What's up, everybody? Welcome to A Conversation with Colin. I'm Greg, and this is my roommate, Colin. Now, sometimes Colin says crazy stuff. So thanks to your support over on patreon.com/kindafunny, I'm reaching into the random topic pile one more time, grabbing a topic, throwing it at his face, which is beautiful and I love it very much, talking it out for your amusement. If you like that, like the show, subscribe to our channel, support us on Patreon, then find Kevin in a city near you. Colin, are you ready?
Yes.
Today's topic of conversation is, why do you love games? This is from @DoubleJumpa on Twitter. Why do you, we're video game guys. Of course, Kinda Funny Games, another YouTube channel you should subscribe to that we host. Why do you love video games, Colin?
I really don't know. You know, like I don't know how and why I connected with them so young and so early in my life and so with regularity. There was never a moment in my life that I wasn't intimately connected to video games.
Yeah?
Since I was maybe 2 or 3 years old. And I think it's just a product of growing up with them and being exposed to them and then falling in love with them. And it's such a reductive way of putting it, but I don't know. You know, like I know that I love them and I know that I need them in my life and I know that I cannot walk away from them. I often talk about when I was at Northeastern, there was a year or so where I didn't play games. Like I remember the touchstones of that year were Resident Evil 4, which I bought, and Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, which I bought. And there might have been like a couple others that I played, but largely, with the exception of freelance work, I walked away from games, like I wasn't playing them.
Yeah.
And that was a weird time in my life. And I remember when I went home that summer for a little while, I brought my GameCube home and I played Wind Waker, and that was what got me, like I was like, what am I doing? Like, why aren't I playing, like, why aren't I not playing more games? Why did I disconnect from these? And I immediately reconnected with them because I was like, this is stupid. Like, granted, I had no money and no time.
Sure.
You know, I was working a different job and had a girlfriend and friends and was just drunk a lot, basically. Sophomore year was a really...
Drinking?
Oh, yeah. Sophomore year was a wild ride. And a good ride. It was a good ride. But I reconnected with them and realized that, like, forever, for the rest of my life, I'm going to need these games.
Yeah.
And everyone that's involved in my life knows and has to accept that these are a huge part of my life. And if they don't, too bad.
Right.
You know, like, this is something that my girlfriend learned very early when we started dating 6 years ago. And it's like, she realized very early that, like, I need my own time and I'm going to play games, and that's the way it is. To the point where she knows games better than she did. And she told me she saw someone at Starbucks playing Vita, a white Vita.
Assassin's Creed
Vita. The other day, I'm like, that's interesting that you knew that. So I don't quite know why. I just know that it's essential to my life.
For me, they're the definitive form of entertainment. For me, that's what I want to do. Like there will be times where I'll come home and I'm tired from a shoot or I'm tired from something else, and I want someone to talk at me. For video games, I feel like I'm part of the conversation. I'm dictating where this goes and how it goes. But there's the days where especially like I was coming home from a shoot yesterday, right? And I turned on the Virgin America TV and I'm like, I just need something dumb that isn't like a movie that I need to get in. It was Modern Family. I'm like, perfect. You know what I mean? Give me setups and punchlines. That's different. But like, usually when I have that free time, I'm like, I want to be this character and make these choices and see how they play out. And that was always the big thing for me with video games in the beginning, right? We've done an earlier episode of Conversation with Colin about RPGs, right? And how you dictate what the story is. And I remember playing my Sega Master System games, the best games on the planet. And any game you play back, that's 8-bit, right? You fill in the gaps. Your imagination runs wild with what the Ghostbusters are doing and how they're getting to where they're, you know, all these different things. And so now it is, you get to see that play out and you get to see the story go. And it's, for me, as somebody who played with action figures well into high school, this is the evolution of that, right? It's a digital sandbox where I take the toys in and do things. Yes.
I have a question.
Please follow up with your question.
You played with them or you collected them? Because I collected action figures until I was in college, but I didn't play with them.
The problem with high school is that I had enough sway over my parents and a little bit of money on my own that I would buy two. One that I could unbox, one that I could store away in long boxes.
But were you playing with them? Were you taking them and
well, not like punching them, but maybe putting them out and like thinking about it, what I was doing, and blah blah blah, moving them around that way.
Really?
Yeah.
You were like a 16-year-old boy doing this.
Yeah.
Because I'm not judging the action figure thing. I bought lots of action figures.
Sure. I think I probably around 16 would be when it started to stop, maybe, where I was doing stuff like that. I remember distinctly my first girlfriend in high school, bringing her back to my house and showing her my room and blah. And I did this thing where I pulled out the drawer. I'm like, oh, these are my action figures. And I shut it, and she said, and it was like one of those like stab you in the head moments of just like, wait, you have toys? And I was like, yeah. Wait, this isn't normal. Normal 15-year-old guys don't have this anymore, do they? And that's when I knew I was different.
I love that you didn't you didn't know that this wasn't normal, but that you didn't know that you shouldn't show her the action figures. I mean, I got you beat in the sense that like I had a shelf in my like because I have every Star Wars action figure from '95 to 2002.
Yeah.
Every one of them. And we've talked about this before. And my dad bought me this awesome ornate shelf when I was in New Hampshire that used to be like at a record store. So I had like all these slots. It's huge. It's like as long as a wall. My dad still yells at me for it because it was hard to get in there. And then he was like, it's impossible. I had to like cut it up to get it out of my room.
Yeah.
And so there's like slots. There's like hundreds of slots that they would put like 45s in. And I had an action figure in each slot.
Like their legs in it, or like
they were standing.
Are they mint on card?
No. They were loose, and they were all just standing there. And I had that through college. But like I was like, that was like just in my room, and I was like, oh, this is like my Star Wars collection.
We didn't
you want to have sex?
That's awesome.
So like, but I wasn't like, I stopped playing with action figures like in 6th, 7th grade.
Oh no, I was way past that for sure.
But I had to have them.
For me, I mean, it was just an easy way of like, I drew comics too, you know what I mean? And like, it was a way to act out the storylines in my head. Did you tell me this now? Did you ever go down the rabbit hole of customizing figures, making your own figures?
Yeah, I did that with G.I. Joes a lot because they were easy. I regret doing that with G.I. Joes.
Oh, but I mean, like, I would buy Xena figures, who I didn't watch, but I was like, she kind of looks like Wonder Woman. Buy Xena, then come home and paint her meticulously with my jewel. I didn't have the jeweler eye, but that'd
oh
be
my
awesome
god, I
if
wish you
did.
did. That would have been awesome if you had that.
Greg, you
that
want to
been...
play sports? No, I'm busy.
No, but I regret, because I have 350 G.I. Joes or so.
Yeah.
And there's a few G.I. Joes I didn't like because I didn't understand the value of money and that these things are worth a goddamn fortune now.
Yeah.
And I would take the screw out of the back where the backpack would go, undo them, and then like put them together in different ways.
Yeah.
I did that maybe 10 of them, and that was a huge mistake. But other than that,
I regret this decision.
I mean, I still when I dump my G.I. Joes out on the ground and like look at them when I go home because I'm like they're in great condition, and I look at those abominations. I'm like, what was I thinking with this stupid shit?
So for Double Jumper.
Oh yeah, we're talking about games.
Why we love games, I think, plays into this. For me, games are an extension of toys and imagination. But I now, rather than sit there and be like, this is what Flash would say to this person, and this is how I'm making it that Spider-Man can come into this universe and interact with Justice League. I made my own Axis figure as well. You can do that in the game world and do this and make all these different choices.
Yeah, you're one of those huge nerds, though.
Oh yeah.
I am too, though. I'm nerdy and different. I mean, I like love Danganronpa and Japanese role playing games. That's very nerdy. The thing is that my love of games transcends video games. I mean, I every few weeks play poker with my friends. I mean, that's a game, and I love that. And that's a fun thing to do. I love board games and war games and stuff like that.
Monopoly,
Monopoly's awesome, but I love like Axis and Allies and Shogun and like I like just playing games. I think they're fun and they're a product of a society that doesn't have to work all the time. It's actually a great luxury that we can even worry about these things at all.
Yeah.
Hundreds of years ago, they played for some reason.
Cup and a ball.
Like I'm so fascinated with like. It would take 3 or 4 months for a ship in 1750 to go from England to Newfoundland or Massachusetts Bay Colony or something.
Yeah.
What the hell were they doing on that ship?
Right? Can you imagine?
I often think about that. I'm like, I don't like. They would play cards and drink and like they'd have tons of rum and just get screwed up.
And nobody worked out in like rain or anything.
No.
They were getting tired.
Well, they would. It was being a sailor was tough work, but it was like.
Well, sure, but I mean like the people who were just on the ship doing their thing.
Oh, like the captains. And stuff.
Yeah.
But it's like, god damn, like what were you doing on that boat for 100 days? Like kill myself on that boat.
No, totally, yeah.
Like so they had like cards and maybe some books or if they could read,
potatoes.
In other words, it's a luxury that we have those kinds of things.
Sure.
And it was not a concern of the normal person even 100 years ago when they were working 80 hours a week.
Now it's like, I got a 3-hour flight. Got to pack my Vita, my iPad, my computer.
Yeah, when someone's like,
I got to pay for headphones. Yeah.
You got to go to Europe for like work, and I'm like, oh god, like I have to go to Germany like for work, and that's a blessing for a lot of people. I'm like, I got to sit on a plane for 14 hours. I'm going to lose my mind.
Yeah.
And like our ancestors from 1750 are knocking, being like, well, we had to take a boat from Boston to Liverpool, which took maybe 3 months, and then we would take a boat to France, and then we would get on a carriage and go through like all of these roads that were not paved, and we would go end up in Germany somewhere, and that would take maybe half of a year, to do that trip from A to B. So shut the fuck up, and that's basically what I think my ancestors are probably telling me right now.
And that's why we play games at Double Jumper. Thank you so much for writing in. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, this is the final season of A Conversation with Colin. Why? Because we're going to do more content on kindafunny.com for you. Thank you for your support on patreon.com/kindafunny. If you like this one, make sure you comment below saying why you like games, not what your ancestors did. And then like, subscribe, and share. Until next time, it's been a pleasure to serve you.